This is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo is calling it quits in Houston, heading to Miami to lead that city's police department. He leaves Houston after not many dull moments and with a reputation of not backing down from the issues for which he is quite passionate. Chief Acevedo joins me this morning to talk about his decision. Chief, you got me so riled up about you leaving. I messed up your name. I'm sorry about that. Good morning to you. You said earlier this week that you didn't look for this job. It came looking for you. What was it that put you into the position where you took it after really a short time thinking about it, really?
Well, I have been really contemplating. Let's face it, the last election was all about, I always teased Mayor Turner. It's almost like he, myself, and Fire Chief Pena were the ones on the ballot as a team, right? And so, if you recall that when he was running for re-election, and his term is quickly coming up to an end, and I've been contemplating, what's next? What's next for my life? What's next for my family? Out of the blue, I get a call from Miami, from the mayor and the city manager. And to make a long story short, we in a matter of 10, 14 days end up agreeing to come to Miami, and it's bittersweet. But when one door opens, one closes, another one opens. So I think this will be great for myself, and the department here's in good shape. So it's a win-win for everyone. So
what do you leave with as a high point? What do you look at back on your time here as a high point for you as chief?
There's so many of them to choose from, but you alluded to it. It has been one thing after the other here, one challenge after the other. For me, the highest points have been the way our department has transformed itself, continued to evolve, and on balance, we've done a phenomenal job of being a world-class organization under really tough circumstances. But when you look at the way that we responded to Hurricane Harvey, the World Series, all these huge events, Irma, the ice storm, and most importantly, George Floyd, in the summer there was so much turmoil in our country. Our community and our department came together to show the world that you can support criminal justice reform, you can support First Amendment rights, but at the end of the day, we showed that we work together and constructively as a department and as a community instead of destructively. And I think we were the envy of the nation.
The murder rate in Houston's gone up and down. It's cycled up and down through the years. Now we're on an uptick, if you will. You're leaving at a time when that is on the uptick. What would you do differently? You've had a challenge to do that, and you put more resources at it. You talk about the courts not maybe doing what they can. What do you think is the reason for it, and what would you do differently?
I think it's been an issue nationwide. COVID has had a real profound impact on the collective psyche of the American people. So this is an issue that's impacting just about every major city and just about every community across the country. But COVID brought us a three-pronged threat. It was the public health threat, the mental health threat, the economic threat that saw a lot of people losing their jobs, and then the impact of those issues in terms of crime. And so that's a big part of it. But the other big part of it is our courts have been shut down. First it was Harvey, and now it's COVID. The criminal justice system has come to a standstill, and we have, on top of that, criminal court judges in felony courts here that are letting violent criminals come in one door and out the other on bond after bond after bond, including murderers. And by the way, when you have a gang shooting and somebody dies, and then you let that individual go out the door on a bond, you just sentence them to death, because guess what we end up having right after that? Within a week or two or a month, we end up having another shooting or another death because of the cycle of violence will continue. So we all need to come together. We need to ask tough questions, but all parts of the criminal justice system need to be working on all cylinders and not just the police department.
Mayor's task force last year released some recommendations on community policing. What actions have taken place? What's been going on with that? Is it put into place yet?
Yeah, we've made a lot of changes. Hopefully, with the new chief coming on board, and the Mayor Turner has been really digesting it and working with the committee. I'm pretty confident that in the next couple of weeks, or within the month, you're going to see an update very quickly from the new chief that will tell you what we've done and what we're going to do. And I look forward to seeing the mayor and the new chief actually report back to the community how they're going to move forward with those recommendations. I can tell you we supported just about every one of them. We were already doing many of those things, and I think the community will be happy.
Yeah. I know one of the things that you always spoke about as being one of the negative things about you being a chief is that you've lost officers, and that really has hurt you when you do that. Other than that, when you leave here, the Harding Street raid is going to stick out as something that's a negative blight as well. What did it teach you? Because you through that process, you really learned a lot about what goes on in your department, some operations, about the quality of some of the officers that were there that you didn't know about, and that's got to be really frustrating to find those things out about people who are under your guidance.
Well, first of all, I remember it happened like 18 months into my tenure here. But to me, it is a sad thing that it happened. But like I told my team, when I think the story comes out as we have depositions in the civil case and we see the criminal case unfold, the community is going to find out that this department didn't bury its head in the sand, that after 4 police officers were shot, one sadly paralyzed, 2 individuals and the Tuttle and Regina, lost their lives. I think they're going to find out that the silver lining is that we actually found the malfeasance and that we actually held these officers accountable. And I think that we shouldn't lose sight of that folks think police departments can't hold themselves accountable. And I think this is a real example of the fact that a properly run department with this team we have here will clean its own house and will hold people accountable. And like I told my guys and ladies at the time when I started questioning some things, I'd rather lose my job and be criticized for finding what happened, the malfeasance of Harding Street, than having kept my job as a result of burying our heads in the sand. And so that's just the way I'm wired. That's the way that I'm hoping we've wired our organization. And I think that we should take some solace in that fact.
Got about 30 seconds left here. Miami's where you and your family first landed in this country many years ago when you were just a little pup. Talk about the emotion of being able to go back. It's like a cycle of you being able to go back there. How do you want Houstonians to remember you as chief?
I just hope that Houstonians will remember me as someone that cared deeply about the cops he lost, the children and the lives cut short by violence, and about this extended community. And I hope they'll remember me as one that was a voice for the voiceless and a voice for those that have been overlooked by the power structures of this city, this state, and this nation. And I hope they will remember me as a friend. And hopefully, if life brings me back here, that they'll welcome me back. But at the end of the day, Miami's where this great journey in the freedom of the United States started, and that's where I'm going next. And I can't wait to join my family that lives there in the upcoming weeks.
Chief, thank you so much for your time this morning. And every time you've been on this program, good luck in Miami. I look forward to sharing some café con leche with you when I come down and visit, buddy. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Appreciate you.